What is something that was acceptable 100 years ago which is unacceptable today?
Asbestos. It was deemed a miracle fiber in its day. The stuff was used everywhere.
They even had asbestos cigarettes.
Taking your gun to school. That was actually 50 years ago. My father talks about taking his rifle to school, putting it in his locker, and taking it out after school for gun club, where they shot targets out behind the football field with a teacher.
Graduated 47 years ago. I kept my gun in my gun rack in the back window of my '65 Chevy pickup. Teachers constantly borrowed my pocket knife. Students had a smoking area at school.
Stopping by a friend, family member, neighbor's house unannounced without asking ahead of time if they feel like having company.
Please tell my dad this information.
Buying dynamite and ammonia nitrate at the local hardware store. I got to hear some interesting stories of how my great-uncles cleared tree stumps to make way for crop fields.
Thinking the Milky Way was the entirety of the universe. Hubble didn't verify the existence of other galaxies outside the Milky Way until 1924, Andromeda being the first link.
For a second there, I forgot Hubble was a dude. Wait, the Hubble hasn't been up that long.
Smoking and drinking while pregnant.
My mom did it and I was born in '97.
Putting lead in everything.
Putting radium in everything. They actually drank radium water in the 20s and used radioactive paint for watches. Link.
Slapping kids at school.
I can proudly say I was the last kid that was legally beaten with a paddle at my elementary. Our principal had a wooden paddle hanging in his office and he could only whoop kids that their parents signed a consent form at the beginning of the year. They finally banned it when I was in 5th grade and I was the last. Because I asked to go to the bathroom too much, later diagnosed with IBS, but yay, just smack him till he doesn't need to use the bathroom lol.
Putting belladonna in your eyes to get a doe eye effect. Radioactive wallpaper.
Greater than belladonna. Atropine is still used by ophthalmologists to dilate pupils. But your point stands, it's no longer used for cosmetic reasons.
Doing heroin to cure a cough or a cut.
But officer, I have a paper cut, it's medicinal.
Smoking literally everywhere. Mother effers probably tried smoking whilst swimming.
Lynching. It was popular enough that you could get lynching postcards, complete with a graphic photo of the murder, going into the 1920s. This is despite the U.S. Postal Service banning them in 1908.
Remember, we're talking about 1922 here, not 1850.
Had to think for a minute. When I hear 100 years ago, my brain still thinks 1890s. Not graduating high school. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes and the unexpected and wholesome comments about your grandparents and great-grandparents. I really enjoyed reading them after a long day at work. Smiley face.
Definitely was much more normal for good people to drop out of high school 100 years ago to help out on the farm or such.
Pushing small children up a chimney or down mines.
Those definitely were not growth industries.
Traveling by horse on the highway.
Institutionalization of women, usually by her parents or husband, for pretty much any reason they thought up because she was difficult, and labeling her hysterical.
JFK had a sister that this was done to.
Yep. This practice went on well into the 60s where I'm from. When Indianapolis closed down its state-run psychiatric facility here in the mid-90s, they just kicked the patients out. Literally outside the doors of the building. Many wandering into the yards of nearby homes and businesses. The patients who were genuinely mentally ill, tragically, ended up in the penal system. There were many perfectly sane elderly women who'd been there their entire lives and went into nursing homes because they had no idea how to take care of themselves.
Beating your wife and kids.
He wouldn't have beat you if you just listened to him. Open mouth face running dash.
Naming your kid Adolf.
My neighbor's name is Adolf. Born in Switzerland in 1943. I guess someone panicked.
Lol. That is seriously unfortunate. New movies without sound or color.
Licking radium to make wristwatches.
Tying your giraffe to a lamppost or telephone pole. Atlanta. Edit. Wore the wrong tie.
Sending 7-year kids to the store by themselves or let them roam freely after dark.
Not that it's unacceptable now, but back in the 20s they would call alcoholic beverages giggle water, which I think is super cute. Edit. I didn't know alcohol was illegal back then in the US. Should have added that it's a us thing. BC. I don't think the Dutch ever called alcohol water. Thanks for the added history lesson lol.
Racial segregation of 100 types, including property covenants that prohibited the sale of a home to a non-white family.
I live in a house where that was in the original deed restriction. The previous owner was a professor who kept all the old documents for historical purposes. My husband is a dark-skinned Latino, and I'm a woman, so neither of us would have been allowed to buy this house when it was built. Women weren't given credit in those days. It's one of those things that you know intellectually, but when you hold the documents in your hands, with your address on them, it's different.
Smoking in pubs.
Putting cocaine in soft drinks.
A couple of lads disagree.
Men marrying teenage girls.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.